What's up, everybody? We're back with another episode of the Soundcheck podcast. Today, I am joined by a good friend of mine, and I don't use that term for everybody. I feel like I've only had friends on the podcast for the most part, but I wouldn't say it if I didn't mean it. We got DJ Kodebreak, aka Cody, aka the Vibe Master. Um,
Yo,
thanks for joining, man. I know I just hit you yesterday, kind of a last minute thing, but
all
just
good,
wanted to
man.
use this to catch up, shoot the shit, tell some
Always
people
down,
about your story too. You know.
always down for a conversation with friend on podcast.
Um. So yeah, for those of you that don't know, you're like a touring DJ, an artist yourself, probably a bunch of other things too. Feel free
Yeah,
to
kind
give
of
me
do everything.
give me a rundown of like what you got going on and what you've been doing.
I would say for the most part, what I'm known for is DJing, touring, hype man, that combination of things. Touring with different artists, being with different people. But in my own time, I do my own thing. I produce. Always involved with music, doing things, art, creatively, drawing.
Yep.
Got into 3D printing this year. That's been taking over
Cool.
my life in a big way. It's a crazy hobby, but it's fun.
I didn't even know
Just
that.
gotta,
See, that's why we do this.
yep, gotta do things in between touring, and kind of taking like a year off of music. I just kind of stopped making stuff. I go through like waves of uh creativity, and it's like right now there's nothing musically I want to do, and everything's kind of in my realm with like the EDM and different things like that. Everything's kind of sounding the same and just getting really repetitive. I haven't really been listening to a lot of music, like newer music, and that sounds crazy as a DJ, but I've just been listening to old stuff,
Yeah.
dude, like oldies stuff. I don't know if you can see I got all these records back here. It's just all old shit and shit that nobody's probably ever heard of, but it's just like I don't know, man. I was thinking the other day, I was like, when's the last time or like what's the most recent song you can think of that is like a timeless song? Like I wouldn't say there's anything in the last few years that's been made that I'm just like, this is gonna last forever, or people are gonna be bumping this in 50 years. And that's no discredit to anybody. It's just like everything's happening so fast, everything comes out, like people's attention spans, like nothing's sticking. It's not time to marinate, and like, people used to put out like an album every couple of years and you had to like wait and digest it and, break everything down. Now it's just like people are dropping a song every day, or if not more, things like that. So it's just music's gotten kind of weird. Sticking stuck to more just kind of keeping my music stuff on the road, and like when I do play stuff that I've made, just keep it live and do things like that, and it just makes it more fun for me because I'm not big on the grind, the digital grind,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
to say, that everybody is playing, and everybody's got to do it. It's fine. I'm just mad awkward. I feel weird doing it, and it kind of takes away from like what I like doing. So I'm just like, yeah, I'm not. I'm not gonna do that. Everything I do is just gonna be on tour and as part of the show and stuff like that. And then what I do on my own time is kind of just whatever the fuck I want to do.
Well, it's 2026 right now. Uh,
Yeah.
we're we're from a little bit of a different era. You know, like when did you start? When did you do like your first show, even if it wasn't for yourself, but maybe DJing for somebody else? What year was it?
First show would have been with Futuristic.
Wow. Okay.
I was just kind of thrown into it with them,
Yeah. And that
and it
and that
was
was what?
like that would have been the end of 2011,
Got
and
it.
like 2012 is when we like really got going.
Yep.
When I met him, it was like the end of the summer in 2011, and it was like, I did this whole tryout that I didn't know was really a tryout. I just went over there to kick it with him and showed him my gear and was like, "This is what I can do." And when I left, he was like, "All right, we got a show in like 4 days or some shit." It was like less than a week,
Hmm.
and I was just like, "All right." And at that time, he was opening for like everybody in
Right.
town. Like if somebody came to Arizona and they were rapping, he was opening up, and it was just like we were doing a show like sometimes like 4 or 5 times a week because it was just like whoever was in town,
Yeah.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, bigger artists, we opened up, and I just kind of got like thrown into it, and then a little while into that is when we started touring. But my first like gig as a DJ was my cousin's seventh birthday party,
Let's go,
and
dude.
my aunt found out I had some DJ equipment and was like, "Can you do your cousin's birthday party? It's like a bunch of girls that want to hear like Katy Perry and stuff like that. And I'm just like, bet. And they had this like cool ass suite on like the balcony rooftop of this resort out here in Arizona. And it was like this crazy
For a
like
7-year-old?
birthday. Yeah, it was lit. And I was just like, all right, I'm down. Pulled up with the little controller, couple speakers, and played Katy Perry for like 4 hours. And was just like, my aunt paid me like $100. I was
Yeah.
just like, word.
Let's
And
go.
then like 2 weeks later, I was literally DJing with Futuristic. So it was like I didn't really have to like,
So you just got thrown into the water and just had to learn how
yeah,
to swim, basically.
yeah, deep end, and it was just like go for it. And then very soon after that, we started touring, which I never really thought was gonna be a thing. We just kind of started doing it, and that's when I was like, "This is what I want to do." And I kind of never looked back, and it's been 15, 16 years now, something like
Yeah,
that,
it's crazy.
of being on the road most of the year, every year
Yeah,
except COVID was like the one time nobody really toured, but that was like a nice year plus
dude,
off or
it's
whatever.
cool
It
because
was weird.
you're one of the people like, I consider you a good friend of mine. We've toured together a handful of
Multiple
times
tours,
over the
yeah.
years, but also I know I'm gonna see you like once or twice every year because one of us is gonna be on tour, or we're gonna both be on tour in the same place. So it's like we don't ever really get to like hang out for like a whole day or like a weekend or some shit, but it's like I know I'm gonna see Cody at least a couple times this year, which is always cool.
Yeah. That to me has been one of the driving factors of touring for me is I have family all over the country, friends all over the world now at this point from doing this, and it's like whenever I get to go out, it's like I get to go see my friends. I have friends at home that I see here and there, and they always think I'm gone, so we don't like chill as much as I'd like to. And everybody has their own lives going on. People are getting older, they got kids, doing all this and that now, so it's hard to like meet up and do stuff. But on tour, it's easy because I can hit people in advance and be like, yo, I'm going to be here on the 18th, clear your schedule, take off work the next day, whatever you got to do.
Yeah,
Usually a smart move if you hang out with me is to take the next day off work
yeah, yeah,
because it's probably going to be a time of some sort.
yeah.
Not as hard as I used to go, but we're definitely probably going to be drinking and staying up late and
Well, dude,
having some conversation. So
so I met you in 2015. I think maybe it was 2016, but it was definitely 10 years ago, around there. And that was felt like I don't want to say peak, but like you were going fucking hard in terms of hanging out all night, doing whatever, like you were on
oh
tour.
yeah, I
Oh,
had I had a reputation at one point in time, and I mean I still have it, and I'm just older now and slowed down on my activities. It's just gotten to in the beginning and early on, and even up until a couple of years ago, it was like just everything was a new experience, and I wanted to take everything in and talk to as many people as I could and meet different people. Most of the people I've met or I'm still friends with to this day, like you or anybody, it's like I've met through touring and conversations or just being outside smoking a cigarette or at the bar
yeah,
getting a drink with somebody or just random little, meetups and then ends up being somebody that I'm friends with for the next 10 years or, off of some random interaction. And it's just, I've kind of just let that flow happen in my life where it's like, go where it takes you. You might end up in some sketchy situations. You might be somewhere you would never want to be, but it's a story, it's an experience. But then you learn from that and you're like, okay, I'm never going to do that again, or this is how I got to get here, so maybe I can do that again. So,
yeah,
but yeah, it definitely that time was party time, big time, especially early on with Futuristic.
yeah.
It was big party time.
Yeah, because when I met you, I was on the road. I was technically TMing for TJ Hickey, even though I wasn't really doing shit. I was kind of just soaking up game and hanging out, and I was just like
Yeah,
extra set of hands type of guy learning. It was my first time on tour at all, and it was Huey Mack and DJ Yemi and Ronnie, and then you, Futuristic, Marcus, Cam Meekins and his boys, and then me and TJ. So we had a big fucking crew,
that was a
and
fun one.
you and I like I felt like I just gravitated towards you, which is funny because you were like party guy and I'm completely sober and like don't want to be outside.
Yeah,
But like
yeah,
I didn't ever look at that like you said you had a reputation, right? I didn't look at it as like you're like troublemaker or like gonna get too fucked up and like do some crazy shit. Like you just were like down for the ride, and you just always had such a good vibe. And I feel like I just gravitated towards you, and we were just like kicking it so hard for like a month or whatever it was on that run. And I have so many good memories from that tour.
Yeah, I think when I've noticed when I'm in situations like that and have been for like, 15 years now, I've felt like even on that run back then, it was like I have all this experience and I go through all these experiences so I can put other people on and share it with other people. And it was like I felt like you were there as like a sponge almost because like you said it was your first tour. You were like, I don't know what's going on. I don't like and this is a little cheat code for people out there in either getting in the industry or just in life. If you are there to absorb game and learn from people, like it's going to get you further. And I feel like if you're there with like an open mind, like you were, and like you said, we didn't really match on paper as like these dudes are probably going to be friends for the next 10 years, because I'm up here partying, you're down here, level headed and
Yeah,
sober. But it's like on those times we were hanging out, it was like I was giving you all this experience that I've already been through and you're absorbing it. And for me, I like to pass that on through people. It doesn't matter like where you're from or our backgrounds or like what other things we're into, but it's like if you were there listening and open minded with me, it's like I'm going to share this with you. And then we ended up sharing things later and becoming friends and going on more tours since then. So it's like I just feel like when you're around people, keep your head open and, have conversations, be ready to learn and listen and absorb everything. You don't have to like
yeah,
take everything right away because it's like obviously we live different lives, but you definitely pulled some gems from me and applied them to your next tours and,
totally.
to the industry in itself. So,
And
you
just
know,
being around all you guys during that time was really cool because yeah, I mean I was 22, like fresh out of college, and had played a bunch of shows like in Massachusetts and like surrounding areas, but never got on like a full run as an artist or as anything. Like I've never even been to those places in
yeah.
general. I remember just being like, "Holy shit, dude, I'm in Kansas!" Like, what the hell? I never thought I'd be in Kansas, type of thing.
Yeah, you're in the most random place ever, and like you just like reflect sometimes, like, how did I get here? And
But
it's like,
but you guys were the pros, like that was like how I was going into. I was like, okay, whether these dudes are like rich and famous and like the most successful, like I don't really know. I don't even know what the fuck's going on, but I do know that everyone here has more experience than I do, and they're like doing this full time at some level. And I knew that's what I wanted to make happen for myself, which obviously I eventually did. But without having the flexibility of that tour to like just learn and like either watch things go really well or watch things go not so well, I was able to take things away and go, okay, I know why that happened. I know what to do in this situation. Not perfectly, but I had such a better baseline by the time I went out on my own tour to play my own shows or like hire a DJ or whatever, which like was you a couple times. It was like,
yeah, I was like,
okay, I know what I'm looking for. I know what I
yeah,
want. Like I don't need this. I want this, whatever, whatever it is. But 2015 was such a valuable time for me to just soak up game and
that
learn.
was really good time. When I look back on it, and it was like when you're in it, you don't think that it's gonna be like you said. It wasn't. I don't think it was the peak of anything. I just feel like when you're in it, you don't really realize like how good it is, and then or like the prime of what's happening or everything that's actually happening, and then when you look back, you're like, holy shit, like this was happening, or
That
we
was
were here
mad
doing
fun.
that, and it was
Yeah,
like and you didn't think it could get better or worse, or whatever, and then you look back, you're like, damn, like that might have been the best time, or the worst time, whatever. But it's weird how you don't really realize it when you're in it, but
I
when you look back,
specifically remember this one day on that tour, um, where me and you were hanging out all day because you had almost nothing to do because we had a show in New Jersey, but Zach, Futuristic, had to fly to somewhere, probably LA, to play on like a late night show with what's the name of the group that I can't think of?
oh, Great Big World.
Great
That's
Big
when he
World.
was doing all that
They were
stuff.
doing
Yeah.
like a late night experience, a late night performance, and he was the feature on their song. So he was like, "Yeah, I have to go perform on like I don't know if it was Jimmy Fallon or one of those, right?" So
I
like,
think it was either Jimmy Fallon, so that would have been New York, right? I think he went to New
Maybe he went to
York.
New York. Yeah. But we had a
Because you're
show
like right there.
in
Yeah.
Jersey, and like he was missing our show to do that. So like I was chilling, and like you were just chilling because you weren't performing with Zach
Yeah,
that night.
Futuristic wasn't
We
there.
were just kicking it, and I remember thinking, I was like, "Yo, isn't it crazy that he's like doing that right now? Like, isn't this like a really big deal?" And everyone was just like, "Yeah, I don't know. I guess this is what has to happen today." Like, it was just like a day that no one was making a big deal out of, and I was just like, "This is fucking crazy." Like, and I was thinking about if I was him, I'd be like pissed that I was missing the New Jersey show, but also like knowing I have to go do this.
You're like, New Jersey or Jimmy Fallon?
And if I wasn't on that tour, I don't think anyone like would have even known that that situation was happening or like that's what's going on behind the scenes. And I remember just kicking with you and like talking about that. You probably don't even remember that, but I was like, dude, this is fucking
Vaguely
sick.
remember that in the venue we were at. There wasn't a lot of people at that one, but
It
it
was
was
a
like a
smaller one.
weird.
Yeah.
Uh, was it It wasn't that one house. What's that one place in New Jersey everybody plays? It's like a rite of passage. I can't think
Stanhope
of it.
House.
Yeah, Stanhope
It
House.
wasn't that. I
It
know
wasn't. It
Stanhope
was like
House
a weird
well too well.
little warehouse, little venue. I can't remember it.
It was like kind of like an arcade, but like not. It was a
It
weird.
looked like a skating rink, but without the skating rink in it.
Yes.
It was like a weird vibe. I remember that.
We find our places
Yeah.
in very many weird buildings that we would never be in otherwise. That was also the night that I met Zero.
Was that the first time you had met him?
That was the first time I've ever met him. And like I became really good friends with him after that. And him and I did a bunch of shows together and worked on songs. And
Yeah, he's the super homie, man. I always tell people is like that. Back to what we were talking about. It's like you never know like who's gonna be what or what's gonna be happening, and like you just gotta like talk to people and take all these experiences. And like I remember Zero as like a 15, 16-year-old kid. Is like I don't even think he was driving. I don't even know if he drives now, but
he does.
yeah, yeah, that's a valid thing to wonder.
Yeah.
Like my guy's a different one. But I remember his like mom dropping him off at shows, you know what I'm saying? Like he was young and just like hungry to learn. And like I would talk his ear off at shows, like afterwards. I know Zach has a specific story of when I was like talking to him outside the bus for like 20 minutes after the show and I just kept like saying the same like five things, but it was like I don't know if I was meant to be doing that or if it was just me like drunk rambling, to
Yeah.
this kid like looking up to me, which sounds crazy, but like
Yeah.
he took in the game and maybe me repeating it made it like important or like stick for him or whatever. But it was just me like giving whatever advice I could and, seeing that he had talent early on, and it was like whatever he is now wasn't like, oh, I like had a hand in this, but like I definitely like to think that I, helped shape that to some degree.
Yeah.
I mean, he's his own man and his own artist, but it's like, dude, like I remember when you were just a kid with talent, and then it was one way, now it's turned into this whole other thing. But either way, I'm just hyped to see him still doing it and like in a position now of like making music his life and, doing what we all want to do, which is tour and, make a living off music.
Yeah.
So
Make an impact.
it's dope to see somebody like, little homie status out there now fucking, crushing it. And we've been on other tours since then too, which the goal was always, early on back with him, he was like, oh, when I blow up, like I'm gonna bring you on as my DJ. And I'm like, all right, for sure. And then, musically things changed. He went with the band and did other things, but we've gotten to tour together since, which to me was like the peak of that. It was like, I don't need to be your guy on stage or anything. It was just like I just want to be there and be a part of it and see you. Like when we went out there with him and Ryan, it was just like even with Ryan, I was on Ryan's first tour. It was like to see y'all
It
out
was
here,
our
like
tour.
yeah, I felt like friggin' like a proud dad, It was like my kids are out here killing it,
Yeah,
like,
dude.
no matter what my role is, I was just hyped to be there and see my guys
No,
out there like
it's so
around the
cool,
world
man.
doing shit.
It's also like I don't think there's anything wrong with like you saying like I'd like to think I'm a part of this, because even if it's not like I fucking taught Zero and Ryan Oakes everything they've ever met, everything they've ever known. It's not that. It's just like
Put
we're,
them on.
we're all part of each other's journey in some way because we're just like out there doing it. Like even if it's like on a micro level, it does all matter because it shapes your perspective and like when you know somebody, you kind of like soak in their network to some capacity and like their information if they're willing to share it, which like usually we all are. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like we're all a part of each other's journey, which is hella cool about the touring space. It's like a really cool community. I would never know you, bro. I grew up in Massachusetts. You grew up in fucking Phoenix. I never even stepped foot in that fucking place. You know what I mean? Like,
There's actually a small chance we would have bumped
yeah,
into
I
each
mean,
other just
maybe,
because
but
I
it's like,
have like family in Connecticut. Maybe we would have popped out at a show there or something, or knew somebody. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. I feel like you're kind of destined to meet the people you meet, you know. So it's like we would have ran into each other at some
yeah,
point. Like,
fair enough. But without like both of us actively touring, it's like if I was just a guy working a job in Massachusetts and like staying there, I wouldn't have known all of the people that I know now. Like it's a completely different world, you know? Um,
do you ever think about that? Like, what you would be doing if you weren't doing music and just never did erase everything we've done and like go back to like no, you were doing music in high school. Whenever before you were doing music, it was just you just went on to do a regular ass life.
yeah, dude, I think about this all the time because I would probably be in like Czechoslovakia chasing a basketball contract, making $30,000 a year, like ruining my life
Yeah.
because
I mean, it's
I
still a dream. It's still a
I
vibe.
know the way my brain works is like I go all in on things. I get obsessed with it and I do everything in my power to like make that happen. And the only
Yeah.
thing I've ever felt that way about is basketball. And I played basketball in college, as you know. And then once that flip switched or that switch flipped my sophomore year of like, all right, I'm gonna do music now. I shut that shit off. But if I didn't, I would have kept going. I would have finished. I played like a little D3 school. I'm not good enough to like do anything major, but I would have had enough irrational confidence in me to be like, no, I'm gonna play professional basketball.
Yeah. I'm
And
making a contract
dude,
happen.
here's the thing. I know people personally that I busted their ass that they played professional basketball in like some shitty country that they don't want to be living in. So I know I would have been good enough to at least do a really shitty version of it. And that would have been the peak of like my powers. But I would still be chasing it as a 33-year-old because I just know myself.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah. No matter what you're doing, you got to be loving it.
and
And
I probably would have found a way to love it and be happy in that life. But like that's not what I want to be doing, man. I don't want to live in a different country and make like minimum wage just so I can play basketball. You know?
honestly, I would live in a random country for minimum wage
Yeah. I
anytime.
mean,
Like I would just do that. Touring has taught me that I'm like, man, when we're in some of these places, I'm like, I would live here in a heartbeat. I'm like, I don't care if I was like a dishwasher or just whatever, like just the vibes are so dope. I was like, I would just live here, man. Like
what's
I
like a
wouldn't even
top
have to
three?
be like a
Like a top three like random ass city that you'd be like, I could just move here and just have a simple life.
I don't know if it's random, but like one of my main favorite cities is Helsinki in Finland. Finland is amazing. Uh if it wasn't for their like winter, which is like literally the North Pole, I would live there. But you can like dip out, you know, as soon as it gets cold, you can go over to like Spain or somewhere else over there in Europe and just vibe out for a couple months. But yeah, it's a really cool vibe there. The people there are awesome. It's just like a weird connection I have with that place. I don't really know how to explain it, but I was like, I love this place. It's great.
Who did you tour there with?
I went there with Echo, and with Webby. I went there out there with
Cool.
Webby on like a last second. His DJ Santo had to do a wedding, and he called me like a couple weeks in advance. Was like, "Yo, Santo's got to do this wedding. You've been out here before. Rock this show." And I'd never done a show with Webby at that point, and it was his biggest show he's ever played. It was like 20,000 people or
For real?
15,000, something like that. It was huge. It was a festival, but it
Oh,
was
okay.
like he was like it was like a hip hop festival, and he was like closing out the night, and
Holy shit.
he was like the American talent they brought in, you know. So it was like his
Got
first,
it.
or I won't say first, his biggest like international like solo show technically. And I was just like, I felt weird because I was like, man, Santo should be here. Like this is like
Right. This is like
his,
their
you know. And I
moment.
was just
Yeah.
kind of like stepped in, but I was also like, again, this is dope to see the homies like winning and just being a part of this is dope. Like whether I'm like on the team or officially, you know, Webb's dude or not, it's like I was just there and it was like a moment for him and a moment in history as far as like the web camp goes. So that shit was
Also
sick. And
cool to get that call. It's like, oh, I'm the guy that they like feel like they can rely on. That's a good feeling.
yeah, that was a big one because I don't know, I'm very big on people sticking with their people. You know, it's like if you know, back in the prime time with me and Futuristic, if he did a show without me, it was weird.
Right.
Whether I felt that way, fans felt that way, he felt that way. It was like it was just this thing that you expected at all times was us on stage together, you know? And we barely ever missed a show unless, like you said, he was doing the Great Big World thing or like some other shit. But as far as like shows went, we've never missed a show. You
Especially
know,
the way
like
you guys did it too,
yeah,
because for people that haven't seen y'all on stage, it's like you're not just back there playing music. You're
yeah,
fucking
it
ad
was
lib
very
everything. You're
dynamic.
out front. You're diving in the crowd with a basketball hoop. Zach comes out and dunks the fucking Nerf ball. Like it's a whole thing that you are
Yeah, it was a
very
show. It
much
was
a
part of the
part of
show,
that
man.
set. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, so it was like, when that happened and to get that call was like kind of a big deal for me because it was like we've been on all these tours with Webb, and I know his set inside and out at this point just from being there, and like you just absorb it. And but Santo is one of my favorite DJs personally. He's like in my top five of personal DJs. So to like fill in for him was weird. It wasn't really about the show. Like I know I could do that part, but it was more of a personal like damn, I gotta like do what Santo does, but also do me because that's why I'm here and they asked me to be here. So it's like it's always weird to find that blend of like I have to still do what Webb's used to because he's used to it going a certain way and like they've been doing the same thing for 15 plus years or whatever. So now all of a sudden it's different for both of us and it was big shoes to fill, but it was fun. It went off without a hitch. It was a good time and the vibes are just nuts in Finland. So
sick.
but to get that call is always is dope. I've been that guy for a little bit where if somebody backs out, I'm like a last minute, usually down. And if I'm not already on a tour, open to go out for a couple weeks or whatever to help somebody out or to just go out there. If it becomes like a full time thing, like that's how it worked out with Echo. It was we had just finished a run. He was opening up with Futuristic and we finished that run, and literally like a couple days later, he was like, "Hey, I got this run. You want to come out?" And I was like, "All right." It was like back to back, and then from that moment on, me and him have been working together. So it was just like a piggyback. Like, hey, I need somebody. Like, all right, I'll fill in. And I still to this day don't know how I'm with Echo, but it's been dope for the last few years with him
Yeah, it's
as
dope.
well. But the first night we ever did a show together, I got the drunkest I've ever been in my life.
Oh no,
Like alcohol poisoning, drunk level, and
he was
he had to
probably
like
second
take
guessing his
care of
decision.
me. Yeah, because he's sober too, and it was like he was on the phone with this girl at the time. Was like, "Yeah, I don't know what to do. This guy's gonna
Yeah, I
die in the
brought out
hotel
this
room."
fucking
Like, yeah,
psychopath. Actually,
like he's like, "I don't know." Like, and then the next day I wake up and like we went through the night of what happened, and I was like, "Dude, like it was just he felt like he was responsible in some way for it." So like I think that kind of like offset like how bad it actually was because he kind of took some of the blame when really it was just me drinking way too much. But he kept handing it to me, and that's why he was like, "Oh, it was like kind of my fault." I'm like, "Dude, you didn't drink them. Like, it wasn't your fault at all. Like, it was
yeah, I'm a
just kind
grown
of
up.
yeah." I think I just went to the max, and it was all bad. Like, it was I had like 21 shots in like 20 minutes,
Oh my god,
just
dude.
like, and I only weigh like a buck 30.
One thing about you is if you're gonna send it, it's getting fucking
Yeah.
sent.
Well, yeah, it was like one of those. We were on stage and everybody was just going, chug, chug, and shots, and I'm just like, like,
Was it headline?
like, no, we were literally opening up like one of three.
Okay,
For it was for Ritz,
got it.
and
Oh, with
then
Dizzy.
yeah, Dizzy
I
was
came to I
right
came to see
before.
y'all at the LA show on that tour. I remember
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
yep. I flew out to Houston and met up with Echo. No rehearsal, no nothing. First show, we get up there and people started handing him shots, and he's like, "Oh, I don't drink."
That makes
And
it
I'm
a
like,
little
they were
bit
like, "I
better.
do," and then everyone just started like handing me
Yeah.
alcohol, and I just started pouring it in a cup. And then after every song, they were like, "Chug, chug," and I'm just like,
God.
"My God,
That's
dude!" I'm like, "This is all bad." And then I blacked all of that, like the drunkest I've ever been. Part of my soul still lives in Houston. It's all
yeah,
good.
yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
That,
rest in
that
peace
that
to
makes
that.
it a little bit better if he wasn't the headliner and you weren't like the guy like holding it down and you're just
But
shit.
it was also kind of worse because we were like opening, and
Right.
I was like
It's a bad impression.
embarrassingly
Yeah.
like first day, you know what I mean? And
Yeah, I don't know
the
what's worse
TM at
actually.
the time, I won't drop his name in case I don't know anybody sees this or passes it on, but me and him had a history before with another artist. He didn't like the other artist, therefore he didn't like me because I worked with that artist. But he was the TM on that tour, and I ran into him like before this happened at Soundcheck. And when I turned around and saw Echo, I was like, "That's the TM on this tour," and he was like, "Yeah." I was like, "That dude hates me," and he was like,
God.
"Well, this is gonna be fun," and like fast forward 4 hours and I'm the drunkest I've ever been in my life. And he's on a sober tour with Ritz. That was like when Ritz first was
Yeah,
like, yo, trying to clean up, and they
sure.
had no alcohol in the green rooms, all this stuff. So I had to like do a side mission to drink, but it was like a weird, I think it was like a Sunday or something, or like some holiday, but they weren't like serving alcohol anywhere. So like before the show, I didn't really drink. And so that's why on stage, when they were like, oh, we open up the bar now, here's some alcohol. And everyone was like, drink. I was like, cool, I haven't drank, and it just started like going way too hard. And then it all hit me like one time because I drank it all at once, essentially. And
So let me ask you this,
should
because
have went to the hospital.
yeah, yeah. Um, how did you navigate that for the rest of the tour? And I ask that because you know you're like a good vibes guy. I feel like that's partially the reason why people get hired on a tour. And like no matter what your position is, you got to be good to hang around. You have to be like part of the crew, and like touring is hard. So people want people with like positive attitudes and good energy. Like you are that very much, right? So I ask that because this is also just like there's a lot of politics that can come into this industry on the touring side, especially. If the TM like already didn't fuck with you, did you like make an effort to kind of like patch that up with him? Did you just like not have to see him as much? Did you apologize to anybody after getting absolutely shit faced the first day?
Well, yeah, I definitely did that because I was embarrassed, and like it was, one of those terrible like first impressions. But what had happened was basically, like I said, we ended that tour of Futuristic, and the history we had of touring was just partying and bottles of alcohol, and like going into that flow every night. So right off that, like literally 2 days in between from that tour to that tour, I was like still in that mode. And then knowing Echo was sober, but it was kind of like, you asked me to be here. This is what I do. This is part of my show, whatever. It was like, I need to drink or whatever for part of my like, pre show, whatever, just the habit I was into. Um, but to go from like that to where I went was like, yo, this doesn't happen. Like, this isn't like an everyday thing. And that's why I think Echo felt kind of responsible for, being like, oh, I had a hand in that or whatever it was. But it was like, look, that's never going to happen again. Um, and I did have to like talk to them because it was like one of those, like the fans at the show were the ones who like saved my ass because I was like in the front row of the show. Cause like you're saying, I'm good vibes guy. I'm in the crowd, like Dizzy's on stage. That's my guy. I'm like turning up in the crowd. And the last thing I remember is being right up front. I had my arms around these two dudes, or I think it was a guy and his wife. And I was like, Dizzy, like that's all I remember. And I woke up the next day, like in the hotel room, head to toe in sweat, whatever. But
Yeah.
so I knew like I know everybody on the tour was aware of like what happened. So the next day I was kind of like, yo, like this isn't a thing that happens. I apologize. It's not gonna happen like that again. Like, yes, I do party, drink here and there, whatever. But like what you saw is like it was like a fluke, one in a million night that had happened. So yeah, and I did end up talking to the TM after that, but it wasn't really like a about that. It was kind of like you were saying about smoothing stuff over because it was more of a guilty by association thing where it was like, hey, I know you don't really fuck with the artist that I was with when we did have an interaction, and you did what you had to do doing your job. And he's like kind of known for like being like a hard ass TM, but like if you're on his team, it's really fucking dope. But if you're like against him and one of the people he doesn't want to deal with, then it sucks. So it was like I had to figure out really fast, like, hey, I'm on the road with this guy. He's essentially taking care of me and us. Like, we're gonna have to check in with this dude. We're gonna have to see him every day. It was like I just have to like eat that and whatever feelings he has towards me because I didn't have any feelings towards him other than the fact I knew he didn't like me based off of who I had worked with. So it was like, hey, I'm not with this dude. We need to form our own little kind of rapport. And first night was a bad start. Forget that happened, and we'll
Mhm.
start a new slate. You know what I'm saying? And it ended
Yeah.
up being dope. The whole run was cool. And from that moment on, like, I mean, me and Echo have still been working together, and I've run into everybody on that tour since multiple times. So I ended up getting really tight with Ritz's DJ on that tour, which was cool. He's a man, Chris Crisis. And he'll like randomly call me and stuff all the time. He's a really good dude. But
Nice.
that was just like one of those, they were headlining. He didn't have to like be as cool as he was to us. We were literally the openers. So it's like that circle of I've been that dude for people, people have been that dude for me. And it's just like realistically, you're touring together. You're all essentially living and working together for X amount of time. You just want to make it as smooth as possible, and whatever little feelings or beefs are there, it's kind of like that shit can go away for a little while, and or you address it and handle it and do what you got to do and just get out of the way.
Yeah, I wanted to ask that because I mean, we've talked about on this podcast on past episodes of just like touring is really hard, but if you have like a good crew that everyone gets along and everyone's on the same page, it makes it so much easier and so much more fun and so much more worth it. And I feel like I've been pretty lucky with that because a lot of times I'm playing point guard to some extent, so I can control like who's around. So I know like, all right, we're not going to take too many risks on like just having some fucking weird energy in the room or in the van or whatever, you know? When shit like that does happen, I feel like the communication is so important. The fact that you like went out of your way to talk to him and make sure, yo, is everything good? Because like I don't want to have not a good time because we feel like we don't like each other, even when there's no reason that we shouldn't, you know. But some
Yeah,
people
and even if he
probably
did,
wouldn't,
even if he was, because he's definitely the type of person that'd be like, "Yo, here's the problem I have with you," and you know what I mean. It'd be like, "All right, like I can either do something about it
and
or
that's a
not,"
good thing, I think.
and it's like, yeah, but he's the type of person, like I said, that you want on your team, and you want to be on his team. So it's like when we are forced to be in that situation touring together, and he's essentially the one in charge of the headliner, which I don't know if anybody knows this, but that means he's in charge of the whole fucking tour,
Everybody, yeah,
basically.
he's the guy.
So from the very opener to the last person with the headline crew, it's like this one dude pretty much runs the show. Like, why would I make my life harder
Totally.
and like have some kind of beef with this dude? Even if beforehand I didn't even have any beef with him, it was just I knew he didn't rock with me because of
Hmm.
who I was with before. So it was like, all right, this
But a
dude's
lot of
gonna hate
people
me
wouldn't do that,
already,
man, because they have like an ego about it, or they just don't want to like have a confrontational type of conversation. They're just like, all right, I'm gonna just stay out of his way, and hopefully everything's okay. That makes it not fun because you're like
Well,
walking
then
on
it makes it
eggshells.
awkward too
Yeah,
because and then it makes it look like that person also has a problem with you too. And it's like, why is this dude, dodging me or whatever? And it's like, or you have to like middleman somebody else, like, yo, tell so and so to like do this. And it's like just you gotta be able to talk to everybody on a tour and be open. Communication like makes like you said, makes everything easier. And you just have to open up all those doors because you're all together and it just makes your life easier when
I
everything's running smoothly.
I think being on tour regularly, like you are, like I've been to, teaches you little life skills like that along the way that you can implement into other parts of like normal life. You like if you're just home off tour and like whether you're I don't know wherever you are, it's just like I feel like you become a better communicator because you've been in situations where you kind of have to like just hit
Yeah.
the nail on the head. Because if that was regular life, you'd be like, ah, oh, yeah, fuck that guy. I don't know. He doesn't like me. I'm not going to see him. But if you're about to be with him for 36 days in a row, it's like, I'm probably going to need to have to talk to him about this or like figure this out because you're just in close quarters. So,
Yeah, and you just don't want any weird shit like lingering around. Because even let's say you dodge him the whole tour, and then you get off the road, and then in 6 months you see him at a festival again. Because it's like the dude works in the industry,
awkward.
EMs with other. It's like, oh yeah, I toured with this dude for a month, saw him again, and still didn't say what's up or dodged him. It's like
And
at that
also,
point it's just weird
it's
energy
not
and
all strategic and like gameplay, but it's also like, yo, that dude's not gonna call me for a fill in if Ritz needs somebody and his DJ.
exactly.
It's like you
So
want
why
to
would
be
you
part of the
put
system.
yourself out of work?
Yeah, stupid. Um,
Because of an ego or because of some weird little beef or something, and it's like the music industry is very web connected of like who you know and what you know, and I've seen people with jobs that shouldn't have the job on paper but they're a good person or they know the right people or they're learning it properly, and they'll eventually get there, but it's like you have to like keep all those connections as smooth and dope as you can because like you never know if that one kid you said fuck you to at a show, I don't have time for you, is going to be huge next year or in 10 years or run a fucking, company or this. Like, you don't know where people are going to be or what they're
and
doing. And it's not always like,
yeah,
be nice to everybody because you never know where they're
right.
going to be. But it's like, it's not a bad idea
Got to
to
pick your
treat
battles though,
people.
you know,
Yeah.
because like sometimes shit goes down and you're just like, yo, I know that's not right, and I got to stand up for myself or stand up for
Yeah.
somebody else who won't.
Yeah,
You don't have to
100%.
be friends with every single person. There are people that
Exactly.
fucking suck that you don't want to be around. And like, if they become the biggest artists in the world, good for them, but fuck them still. Like, that's still a thing. But for something stupid like that, just go out of your way to smooth it over because there's not even an actual problem. So like, just do the extra work and make everybody just be on the same page. Like that shit goes a long way. And you do that 20 times throughout your career, then you have 20 more branches to like reach out to and like
Yeah,
get
and
yourself a
all those
job or
people have branches,
that was
and everybody's, connected out there, so it's like I've gotten calls from people that I didn't even know that were like, "Yo, we heard you or saw you here from so and so," and it's like, "Are you open or available to do this?" Or do you know somebody that can plug me with this person? Like, it's not always me getting the work or doing the work, but it's like, I've sent people your way or other people's ways where it's like, yo, I'm not the guy for this, but I know like three or four people who are, or if not, they do, like, they can find what you're looking for through the web of people or, contacts and shit that you have. So it's like, I don't know. I've kept my web open to like almost a toxic level where like I'm still friends with all of my ex girlfriends except like one, um, but like literally, I got a call from one of my girlfriends from high school, and this is like I graduated in 2005. Like she called me like a week ago,
yeah.
and it was just like we can still talk. And some people would think that's like terrible, but it's just like to me, once you rock with somebody and are friends with them or have feelings for them, and it's like that should never really go away unless they do something like insane to
Egregious.
you or
Yeah.
like whatever. But for the most part, you should be able to like, especially with time and shit, forgive people or forget things and just kind of like move on and remember the good parts of them or the memories and shit. But it's like my door is always open for people, and it always has been. And it's just like I've had the most random people hit me for things, and it's just like I'm glad that I could be a part of that for you, and help you out to some degree. But it's also like I haven't talked to you in like 20 years. Like,
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
crazy. It's
There's got to
crazy
be a
how
line somewhere, but I definitely feel you.
yeah. Yeah, I don't think I have that line unless,
Yeah,
like I said, it's some crazy shit. But there's it's to a toxic level though, where I'm like, I'm cool with everybody. I try to be, and it's just, you got to let some people go, and not everybody's gonna stick around. But at the
for
same
sure.
time, it's like I can go how many weeks or months without talking to you and we're still cool. You know what I mean? It's like I
Yeah.
have that habit with people where like when I'm like, oh, I'm still friends with all my exes, it's like I don't hang out with them all the time or talk
Right.
to them, but it's
Not
like
calling them every
if we
morning.
tap
Yeah.
in here and there, it's still cool. It's still, we're civil, things like that, So it's like that's what I mean when I'm saying
Yeah.
that type of shit. It's
Being
like,
civil, I think, is totally normal and healthy. I think that's a good
yeah.
perspective. You know,
So I'm definitely still like really good friends with a lot of my exes.
you're
But
like, yeah,
like
but like, there's some problematic parts of what I'm saying. Just so we're
yeah.
clear.
Well, it's gotten me in trouble in other relationships.
I'm sure.
Luckily the one I'm in now isn't really that much of a problem. She's met a few of my ex-girlfriends. And it's like, just through shows and other things like, "Oh yeah, these people."
Yeah.
And that's cool to have somebody that's like, understanding of that because I am moving around all the time and I do have people that are in my life and are going to be in my life for a long time. So it's
Totally.
like, if you're going to be here, these people are going to be here too. So
Give me another city because I asked for three and then we just got on a fucking
but yeah, we
rampage.
derailed.
It's totally fine.
I don't know if I can say the city as much as just the place, but Australia is amazing. Um, the Gold Coast, if I had to narrow it down, I mean, it's a very kind of touristy area, um, but it's a vibe. I grew up in Virginia Beach,
Oh,
in
that's
the
right.
surrounding area, and it's very much like that kind of vibe with like an Australian accent, but like the same kind of scenery where there's like housing, but also like beach kind of touristy. It like felt like home, but obviously in a completely different part of the world. Just awesome people there. Australia is just really fucking cool. If anybody ever gets to go, you just have to go.
Yeah.
That's top tier shit.
I haven't really
Um,
been out there. Um,
yeah, you got to get out there, dude.
I need to. Yeah. I'm keep on like waiting to do it with like a work opportunity, which I feel like I'm gonna keep waiting to do that. But like that's got to happen soon. I want to manifest that. Um, I don't want to just go to Australia and like spend my own money though. Maybe that's just because I'm
Yeah.
used to like going to places for a reason.
No, I feel that. I feel that. It's like I'm that way with Japan right now. Like I've been wanting to go for years. And the few times I've been to Australia, I'm like, dude, it's time to go to Japan. It's right there. It's like a
Yeah.
shorter flight, you know. And I'm but then I'm like, say I go out there for a tour, right? I'll pretty much blow my entire tour check
Yeah,
on
exactly.
that trip, even though it's right there. But it's like I'm gonna spend money when I'm there, and it's like a once in a lifetime trip for me, anyways. Where it's like then it becomes like like a vacation and a holiday, and you're just blowing money, as opposed to like if you get asked to do a couple shows out there, you can kind of offset it and be like, well, at least I get to eat dinner for free, and like whatever, and get paid for the show. But
Dude,
it's like
that was the only reason I've been to Hawaii because I've always wanted to
same
go to Hawaii.
facts. I've been in Hawaii for 2 days, and it was to do a show with
But I did some
Futuristic.
shows and I was like, see, this is how you do it. You're making money while you're here.
Alaska.
You have a
Yep.
purpose. Um, but yeah, maybe we need to tell ourselves that it's okay to just do stuff sometimes and it doesn't always have to be for work.
I'm big on that. I actually was talking to my homegirl about that the other day, where she was like, "You have like a superpower of chilling," and I'm like, "Well, like, what do you mean?" Like, it's like I am real big on just like taking time off and like working with Echo and Futuristic and you, and like you guys don't stop.
Yeah.
And like artists these days are just like you kind of have to keep going, and I get it, but like I'm kind of there to be like that balance of like, yo, take a day off, or like I'm always in Echo's ear, like, yo, go
Yeah.
on a little vacation or something. He's like, I can't, like I gotta work and I gotta
Dude,
put
I
this out
know.
and I
I,
gotta, and like
yeah.
even if he does, let's say like, or you guys, the off chance you guys all take like a week vacation, guess what you're doing while you're fucking there? You're still filming content. You're gonna be like still all taking calls, still like listening to beats to like to write to because you're inspired now because you're on the beach,
Yeah.
like whatever it is. It's like you can never actually just fucking take the time off. And I'm like, dude, please, like I need more people to
Please.
rest and like, charge the fuck up. I'm big on recharging the batteries, and I do it to like a fault almost, where it's like I get kind of, I won't say lazy, but I'll get stuck in like my bubble of chilling, and then I need somebody to kind of pull me out of it, or like something creative, or like that spark where it's like, all right, I got to get up off my ass and go make something or create
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Whether I put it out or not is a different story, but it's like I still feel the need to be like doing something, um because most of what I do is touring, and that work is different in itself. So when I come home, you have to decompress, and then I get caught in that bubble sometimes of like I've only been chilling for like a few days, and I'm like, yo, it's been 2 weeks and I like haven't left the house, and it's like
Yeah.
I become very like antisocial and like locked in on like my recharge time. But then I'm like, yo, I gotta go out there and like hang out with somebody, or like I'm starting to get stir crazy, chilling at the crib, by
Yeah.
myself and shit. So it's like, I have to find that balance, but I like to try to throw that balance at other people too, to be like, yo, take some days off, or like go on a little vacation, or like on our days off on tours, like people want to fill that time up and be like, well, let's go here, let's go there. I'm like, I'm chilling. I'm like, I'm going to the hotel, I'm gonna
Yeah.
charge up, I'm gonna order some food,
I think
watch some
artists
movies or
or
something.
just people in general that are trying to like work for themselves need to hear that because it's just like this hustle culture thing, it's like,
Yeah, it's
like
crazy.
overplayed, but it's like it is true though. Like I don't fucking stop and I love it because I'm doing all the things that I've always wanted to be doing and I'm like inspired to be doing it, but it's like yeah, I need to fucking chill sometimes. And like I'm doing a worse job at that than I would like to be doing. Um like I just saw you 2 weeks ago or whatever, not even finished the tour. I have 6 days off and I'm leaving for tour again. And it's
Yeah, and those 6 days off, you didn't chill. I can
no,
almost
I
guarantee
had way too much shit to do. Like my
it.
calendar was fucking top to bottom. It's just
Well,
like
the good thing about that is like it's not enough time in between to really chill. So you're kind of still just like in that mode of like
I feel like I'm
you're
on
just
tour
on
right
like
now.
a two yeah, you're just on like a couple days off in the middle of your tour still. You're not like really
Yes,
off tour. So it's like
correct.
that's a little easier to justify and be like, yeah, I'm not working, but like, I'm still going here and there. But, when you're done with this next one is when you need to like
Yeah, I'm definitely
shut
going
down
to
for a
make
couple
sure I
days
do
and
that.
like
Yeah.
yeah, recharge up because it's still you still got another half of the year to crush, so it's like if you burn everything out all at the beginning of the year or whatever, and it's like what are you gonna have for the fall, or in the writing time when everybody's taking time off in the winter or
Mhm.
whatever. That's like
Mhm.
to me that's everybody's recalibration time in the music industry. It's like December, January, parts of February. It's like all right, everything's just kind of quiet. Everyone's building, charging up,
See,
and then everybody goes out
that's
and
the
like
problem I
touring.
run into because yes, that is true, but my ass looks at that as like an opportunity to capitalize when there's less competition. So I toured all of January and I put out my album in December. So I did not have any of that. I was like, this is actually go time. And now it's just rolling over. So I feel like I
The album in December is valid though, because then it's Christmas present. People got Christmas money, to buy things and merch, things like that. Like
also, my
that's a
shit,
smart play.
it's real cozy, like I like those
Yeah,
vibes for my albums in the winter.
a little R&B Christmas,
Come on.
a little sensual Santa.
My
Yeah,
music's a lot different than when I first met you.
yeah, it still has the same you know soulful white into it. You've always had
Yeah.
the little seasoning, but I've like seeing your evolution and
Yeah.
the fact that you're doing what you want to do as like time goes on. Like you're still you and staying true to like who and what you are, but also like evolved in sounds or like in growing musically and sonically. And like I was telling Ashley at the show, I was like, it's dope to see Dylan's set now because like there's always a part of me that's like when I DJ'd for somebody or worked with people, I'm like, oh yeah, like we used to do this or like I should be up there. And it's like, nah, like where you're at right now, I was actually like a fan of seeing you and Sham up there, just like because
Thanks,
Shamrock's
man.
always been dope on stage in general.
Yeah.
But um like seeing you and like with the controls now and like the vocal pedal and things like that and the loops, it's like that is your show now. It's like
Hmm.
before you were kind of just performing and like doing your songs. And now I feel like you've kind of gotten into like, this is my set. This is the actual like show part of
Yeah.
it now is like you doing the effects and like switching stuff up on the fly. And like you and Sham can like improvise because you're essentially controlling everything. And that gives you guys more freedom to, do what you want to do up there with the set. And that shit was fun to watch. Definitely. I
Thanks,
like
man.
seeing that because, like, obviously, there's always a part of me that's like, obviously, I wish I could be up there touring and
Yeah.
rocking shows with my boy Dylan. But it's also, I think it's more fun for me to watch like what's supposed to be happening. Like, I'd rather see that than be up there and be like, in your head, you're like, damn, what's missing in my set? I need to like figure out something else for the show. Like, instead of just having like me playing the sounds or like us developing something, it's like, I think where you're at is really cool
Yeah.
for sure to
Thank
see.
you, man. I've definitely felt like I figured out what my show is supposed to be like, and having the more live music element, and then me, kind of like mixing my vocal on the fly or like doing certain shit, like you said. I feel like that's very unique, and there's not a lot of people doing that. It also lends itself to just like how DIY the entire operation is. It feels very
Yeah.
authentic, where it's just like this is just me and my guy up here. There's no like tricks. Like there's shit that I'm doing that maybe not everyone understands like what's going on, but it's like you know what you're seeing is what you get. This is like me singing the fucking songs, but they're gonna be a little bit different than the song itself because it's a live version. It's like a new. I want people to have like an experience rather than just
Yeah.
going. Oh yeah, that was the guy I listened to on Spotify one time. All right, see ya.
I'm big on that too,
you
because
know.
it's like even on this last tour, we were I don't remember what city we were in. We were in the UK and something happened, like my shit went out briefly and it was during my intro before Echo came out. I play like a little 5-minute intro or whatever, and I'm playing it. Something happened. I don't really remember what. I was flustered as fuck, but like the music had to cut off for a second, and some dude in the crowd is like, "Just press play," and I'm like, "It doesn't work like that." First of all, second of all, I'm like, dude, I'm like, listen, I like literally stopped the show. I was like, if you want to fucking see this shit perfect and like hear it, whatever. I'm like, go buy the fucking CD, go listen to it on Spotify. I'm like, you're at a fucking concert. I went into this like little spiel before Echo even came on stage,
Yeah,
and I was like, I gotta cut myself off. I'm up here fucking talking shit. But like people in the crowd, I'm like, listen, man, you want this shit perfect? There's ways to listen to it perfect. You're at a fucking concert, you're at a show, and things are gonna happen. There's technology up here. There's variables that happen. A cable could have went out all of a sudden. Like there's shit that goes on that we have to troubleshoot and figure out on the fly in like a matter of seconds. And I don't need you telling me to fucking just press play when there's way more to it than that also, and it's also just like, "Shut the fuck up," you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
I had to, like, reel it in a little bit, but it was like, "Dude, this is a live show, there's gonna be elements that are different, it's not gonna be picture perfect." Like, obviously, we try to get it as best as we can,
Sure.
and,
Yeah.
we show up with a show and say, "Here's what we're gonna be doing," but anything can happen, that's what makes the job dope and the experience
There's
for everybody
effort
different.
put towards this, but it's not going to be
Yeah.
the exact same every day, which is why it's fun. It's like what people are paying for, you know? It's not a movie. Like you don't just go see the movie and then it's like, all right, that's the same way you saw it the other day when you saw it, but it's like this is a one of one experience. That's why people go to multiple shows too, because they're like, it's the same songs and shit, but it's gonna
Yeah.
be a different experience. The lighting might be different, the size of the room might be different, the sound system's gonna be a little bit different.
Well, even for me, it's always been a thing over the years for, like, my intros and stuff, like, I won't really say anybody, but I've known a lot of DJs and just artists who use intros and things like that, who have the same one for, like, years and years, where it's like, this is you're just like, "No, this is the set, this is, like, what to expect." I don't know if that's the point, but for me, I'm like, "Look, man, I got this is a new tour every couple months, or like, a new flyer or whatever it is. It's like it's a new vibe, it's a new thing. I like to come with different shit every night if I can, but a lot of times you have to have it kind of synced up for timing or whatever to be like, hey, you got 5 minutes, fit this in here and there or whatever. But it's like I even when we were just in the UK, I was playing different shit every night because I get sick of hearing the same thing every night. And like I like to switch it up for myself, but it's like we have the freedom to do that. You know what I mean? To be like, hey, nobody's telling me what to play every single night. Like that's literally my job. So if it's like I'm feeling this tonight, I'm gonna play this, and I think more people need to be doing that because there's people who come to back shows or switch it up something different variables in your set every night that yes it's the same set or you're doing the same songs but like just for yourself up there too to switch it up in
Yeah,
such a
just have
weird
fun,
feel,
man.
it's like,
Yeah.
don't make it so scripted and like get mad when one little few points off or like you step the wrong way or like you know something goes wrong. It's like that all you got to leave room for all that shit and it's going to happen and you have to know what's going to happen. You just hope every night it doesn't, so it's
Gotta
like
be some level of improv, you know?
yeah.
Uh,
And you have to be able to play it off smooth to where it's like that's another talent that a lot of people don't have, where it's like I've fucked up multiple times and nobody would even know it, because you can either transition smoothly or fix that cable really fast or like other things. But I remember one tour we did where during on a Webby tour during Justin Clancy's set, I had to literally like lay behind the scenes, plugging in a XLR cable into their like rack and just holding it in there for their whole set. Like,
my god,
because like we didn't have time to like nobody could find tape, we couldn't do anything. But I'm just like laying on the ground,
that
like
fucking
behind the
sucks.
scenes, and I'm just like holding this thing in there, and like I'm like nobody knows this is happening right now. But if I move, like the whole set just stops. So it was just
I
like
hope Justin
one of those
Clancy
things that
bought you a dinner that night.
yeah, they did something. I don't remember what it was, but they were like, "Yo, thanks for doing that." But it was like one of those like you gotta. That wasn't even my responsibility. It was like most people would probably be like, "Oh, damn, that sucks. That happened during your set." But I was like, "Hey, man, we're all on this tour together, and I'm standing right here. I'm not gonna let your shit fucking crumble."
That's why you're a fucking
And
real one, man. You're a
let's
team player.
fucking go up there and fix it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it looked like an idiot, but for 15 minutes. But it was like, whatever, dude.
Shout
You
out to
guys got your
Justin
set
Clancy, by
done.
the way, Massachusetts guy.
Oh
And
yeah,
so,
yep, big mask guy. He's doing his thing too.
yeah, that's my
Let's
dog.
see, doesn't
He
go
came
as
out to when I
far.
played in Boston on that a couple months ago. He came out and hung out with us.
I miss him. I haven't seen him in a while. He was supposed to pop out the last time we were there. I don't remember what happened. Yeah, I haven't seen him in a little bit.
Kind of a broad question, but give me like maybe something like that where like something happened on tour that's like very memorable and just sticks out to you like that was so unexpected or just like a crazy fucking situation. I know there's probably maybe 10 that pop in your head, but just
There's like a
give me a good
million.
little give me a good little gem.
Um, Let me try to think. The problem is like my brain is so full of that shit that I mix them up. But then like when you start talking about something, like I won't remember something from like 2017. But like when you're like, yo, you remember this night when that happened? I like see it as clear as day. Like all it's like it pulls it from the vault and it's like, yeah, you remember that shit. And like, but off rip, I'm like, damn, I like don't even know what story, like, there's even, like, the shit when we were on that run, like, the On God night and all that, like, just shit like that is just, like, so memorable, but, like, nobody's ever gonna know, like, how
Yeah.
fucking funny that shit was, but we were, like, dying in the van laughing, and, like, that's, like, top 5 hardest I've ever laughed was that
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
night, where it's, like, they
I
I don't
thought you were
know,
about to
man,
pop,
that's
dog.
yeah, that was a and it's still, like, a legendary GIF, dude, it's, like,
Yeah.
still used like, rarely today, but I need to bring it back, honestly.
It's like a story that you can't even tell because it's just like it's not funny if we
Yeah,
say it.
nobody's gonna think it's funny,
It's
but that's,
just
like, the
some
thing
dumb
where you're like, "Yo,
shit.
give me, like, a tour shit," and I'm like, I almost have to think of it with you because then you're gonna think it's funny, but if I tell you some story with, like, me and Echo and Andrew, it's like, "Okay, yeah, that was probably funny if you were there,"
Yeah.
but it's like, I don't know, they're very I think that's what's cool about touring and what I've fucked with probably the most over the years is very, like, personal moments with the people you're with that it's, like, almost like a club of, like, you're in this for this time period, and outside of that, like, that nobody else is gonna get it, where it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
your brothers for this X amount of time, like, I've had people on tour where it's like, man, I'm gonna fucking love this dude for the rest of my life. Like these people are family now. And then you low key never talk to them again. But it's like that bond that you built in that moment. If I see them again, it's still gonna be there. But it's like you lose connections or like people go off and do other shit. But it's like while you're there and in those like bonding times, it's like, dude, you can't pull anybody apart. It's like we're homies, we got each other's backs. We have some of the best like inside jokes or like things going on that nobody else is ever gonna understand or think is funny for this like little period of time. Because like we've even gone back. Like I remember it was a couple months ago. Echo called me out of the blue and was like, "Yo, what was that one like joke we were talking about at the end of the tour? It was like the last day. So I don't know if people know this. I know you know this, but on the last day of tour, everybody's a little fucking loopy and everything's wavy and delirious
Feels like it's
and
over before it's
a lot
over.
of shit doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
We were like running through this one joke that we had and it was like a 10-minute thing on stage at Soundcheck. We were just like talking about this fucking, it was like a toilet paper brand or something. And when I told him what it was, he was like sitting there and he was like, yeah, yeah, it's not funny. Like, it's not hitting like it was on the
It's
last day
not.
of tour. I'm like, cause he couldn't remember the joke. He was obviously telling somebody, he was like, yo, this thing was so funny, but I can't remember what it was. Let me call Cody and see like what it was. And I remembered and I was like, yo, it was this joke. And he was like, yeah, like, no, it's not. It's not it right now. Like I'm like that was the joke though. I'm like it was just the time and like where we were mentally and like loopiness. Like that shit was hilarious at the time. We were like dying, and then 2 3 months later, away from it, it's like yeah, that shit wasn't even remotely
There's been
funny.
so many times that I've like called my mom or like one of my good friends or some shit and try to tell them something because like, oh, they would think if they were here, they would
Yeah,
think this is mad funny. And then I'd say it, whatever it is, and they're just like, the fuck are you talking about? Like, that's literally not.
go home. You're drunk.
Why'd you even call me about this? And I'm just like,
Yeah.
we were in the van for too long, and this dude
Look, man,
said
I've been out here a
something.
month. This
It
shit
was
is
fun,
really
trust
funny. I
me, but like,
swear.
you don't
I
know.
swear.
Oh, it's good.
Yeah,
It's so classic.
yeah. I don't know. Those experiences to me like are why I keep touring and like why I've been doing it as long as I have. Where it's like the little bonds and the jokes and the everything that comes with it. It's like to me, I've gotten to the point doing this so long. Like the job is the job. It is what it is. It's like second nature at this point. I can play a set in my sleep, but it's everything else. The other 23 hours in the day that make it important on tour and like who you're with and what you're doing and how you're balancing your time and shit. It's like all that is very much why I tour. Like the show is obviously the best part, so that's the easy part, and it's
Yep.
the payoff essentially for
Yep.
it. But it's really navigating the rest of the day and your time, even off tour, is like I was talking about earlier with balancing the chilling and the working and things like that. It's like that's all that in between time is the hard work and doing all that shit. The show to me is the easy part. It's like yeah, we got this all day.
I agree. Yeah. Um, even I'm about to leave for tour tomorrow. Tour managing for some buddies. It's like when you get a call like that, it's like, okay, I'm an artist. Like I want to be performing, right? But it's like the time away from doing that. It's like, would I rather be on tour, creating memories with my dogs, and like helping them figure out what they're because they don't want to be doing TM duties. Like they literally want to go on stage and rap and have fun. So like I know that's a strength of mine. I can do it. So it's like I've kind of just like fallen into like doing
Yeah,
other
the rare
jobs,
breed of artist and TM.
which like I'm down, right? But it's like I'm very much looking forward to it, and like I'm not gonna rap or sing one fucking lyric in the next 3.5 weeks. But it's all the other shit, like you were saying, like get up and get a coffee, take a walk. We're in fucking Omaha, Nebraska. Just
Yeah.
dumb shit that we're gonna say 6 months later that we're gonna laugh. It's like that's all so worth it. It's mad fun. It's just like the whole package. It's like the best job ever to me. And I know
Yeah,
most
it
people will
really
not
is.
agree, like, because not everybody's built to be on tour. Like, it's fucking hard.
No, they're not. One of my favorite genres is seeing people fail on tour where like because it's like people who are good at it and who have been doing it a long time make it look easy. And like it is, like when we sit here and talk about it, we're like, yeah, it's the best job in the world. And, the show is easy and this and that, like load in, whatever. It's like, but then people hear that and they're like, oh, hell yeah, I could do that. Or like, these dudes just party all day. Like, whatever. They're just going and seeing sights and going to the Mall of America, whatever. It's like, you're only seeing so much and it's one thing to see it, it's another thing to be involved with it, and seeing people break on tours is wild because it's like, oh, you thought like this shit was sweet out here and everything was like a party and a vibe and
How
you can
about
do
carrying
everything
these
you want. It's
merch
like
bins down 3 flights of stairs because the
yeah,
venue's loading dock for some reason doesn't fucking work, and you're
yeah,
gonna
or they just
break
don't
your
have
back?
one and you're playing in fucking Chicago and you gotta go, what is that, subterranean, is that one?
Be there on Saturday. Thank you.
Oh yeah, that's a fun reminder. Remember that load in, that's a good one.
Yeah. Uh,
Yeah, but shit like that where it's like 2, 3 flights of narrow ass stairs, and it's probably gonna be wet to some degree or raining. And then yeah, all that. So they're metal stairs, by the way, if you didn't
sure.
know that. That's fun shit. But even all that, where it's like people think they can come out and be like, oh yeah, touring and finally made it out here on the road, and like a weekend they're like, I want to go home, or they come up with like some bullshit excuse, or that's usually when my phone rings, where it's like, hey dude, this dude fucking bailed. You want to finish this tour? It's like,
Yeah, I thought we had a
I
DJ,
got
but
you.
he's not built for the streets. So
Well, the funny part is it's happened a couple times where it's like, I'm under the impression that I'm going to be going out with somebody and it's like unspoken or kind of spoken, very loose, whatever. And then it's like, oh, actually, I'm going to take so and so. We're going to do it this way. Like, they're also my videographer, so they're going to do both. And it's like, okay, or like whatever it is. It's like, and then I get the call in a weekend, and it's like, oh, so how'd that work out? I was there. You should have just brought me to begin with, or work something out. But I don't mind getting those calls either. I like kind of being reminded that I can do that and built for that shit where it's like, I can get a call and be ready. I've been living out of a fucking suitcase for 15 years. So it's like, I
dude,
love
there's
being
something
home.
about that
And
that I love too, though. I don't know. There's something like wrong with us, maybe.
it's like a nomadic thing. I think it's like a almost tribal. It sounds crazy to say, I mean, when you think about it, but it's like in human nature, like we traveled and hunted and gathered and moved from spot to spot and migrated. Like when weather got shitty and or like there's just certain people that are built for moving around constantly, and then I think the other half of people are like good at with where they're at, no matter what it is, like whether it's their house or just in life, where they're just like, I'm good right here. Like I don't need to strive for anything else. I don't want to, expand my horizons. Like I like this my 5 foods that I eat, and that's it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
That's all I need. I've lived this long. That's it. But it's like
There's
I
beauty in both of those things, oddly.
yeah, yeah, I think finding the balance between the 2 is, like, the key because it's, like, for me, as I get older, I'm finding more of that balance of being at home, and because before we've been talking, anybody could call me, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm on the road, I'm on the road. Call me, I'll do any tour, like, I'll do it for $10, I'll just be out there," like, whatever it is. It's like, especially early on, like, we were talking yesterday on the phone, like, I paid you, like, $17 and had you a fucking hotel room. It was like it wasn't $17, but
Yeah, yeah.
I've definitely taken some low fees just to do those experiences we're talking about and be out there and see some shit, be out there with people. And um, I've always kind of looked at things like it'll pay off later, or if it's supposed to, or it'll work out. Where it's like, even if it's not a financial thing, like yeah, I never made the most money with you guys when we went out, but it was like we're still friends to this day. Like we still see each other a couple times a year. We've led each other to other homies. Like I have friends through your friends. I'm sure you have friends through my friends now, and it's like all that to me is priceless shit. And it's like, yeah, might have went out and either lost money or just broke even or even went fucking negative. Who knows? But it's like you gain other shit later where it's like you might call me in a couple of years and be like, yo, I got this big ass tour now. My artist needs a DJ, or I need a DJ, or I know somebody who, this and that. And whether it's me or not, I could either do it or be like, well, I can't, but I got somebody who can. It's like it's gonna bleed through the web of people we know and shit. So it's like those experiences are way more valuable to me than like money. I've said this before to friends and other conversations where it's like I've never really done this for money, which is like backwards because most that's why most people work. The pay for me is like in the experience and like all the friends I've met and the people I know and foods I've eaten and shit I've seen now where it's like people pay for that shit. Like we were talking, you
Yeah,
pay money to just go to Australia. It's like why when you can play music there and see shit and meet people and keep doing it that way. And so now that I've gotten older and done all that shit, it's kind of like now I value a little more of the at home time, where I'm just like
makes
thinking about it a
sense.
little more. Like,
Yeah,
hey, I've been to Wichita 8 times. Like,
yeah,
why do I really want to go do this one off? Or or like if a tour is a certain routing now, I'm like, now I kind of look at it as like, which friends am I going to see out on the road? Or like, what places are we going to that I like to eat? Like, I'm mapping it out
yeah,
a
yeah.
little different where I'm like, do I want to go on this run? I still say yes to everything for the most part. But it's like, I kind of looking at the routing different or like the adventures on the tour. I'm like, okay, what are we gonna accomplish on this run? Because the shows are gonna happen and they're gonna go off, and that's what we do, no matter who I'm with. But it's like, what am I gonna experience in between? Like this UK run we did was big for me because I've been to Europe a couple times now, and every time I'm there, I somehow end up staying in London for a few days, and I was just kind of like burnt out on it. Where I'm like, I've done it, I've seen it, I've kind of seen everything that I would want to see or do there personally. So I was like really hype on this trip that we were going to places in the UK that I haven't been before. So it was like brand new shit all over again. Like a couple of cities we went to were really cool. Would love to spend more time there, but like you're only in the city for like a day or two if you're lucky, and that's if you even get a couple hours to do anything. But it was really dope to still be doing this as long as I have and hit like new shit, where it was like, oh damn, like I've never been here because most people look to me or be like, yo, you've been here before, like what's good or like what's to do around here, like and shit like that. And I'm like, I don't know, I've never been here. Like, and that's dope when that happens to me because it doesn't happen often anymore. For the US countless times, Canada, like I could recommend almost anywhere. You called me not that long ago, a couple of months ago, was that place in Salt Lake. You're like, what was that
Yeah,
place?
dude.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, Sweet Lake, dude. Like that place
Yep.
rips.
Sweet Lake.
But it's like I have this like Rolodex of like places and shit now where it's like I collected dope gems of places to go or
I
like
remember that barbecue
people that
place
I
in
could
Kansas
connect you
City.
to.
You remember that place?
Are you talking about in
I mean, in
St.
St.
Louis?
Louis is what I meant. Yeah,
Yeah, Bogarts. Bogarts
Bogarts,
rips. Yeah.
smacks.
Yeah, I haven't been there in years.
Me either.
I need to run that back and make sure it still hits before I tell anybody else about it.
If you want
Cause
me to just, I'll book a one-off in St. Louis and just hire you. We'll just go out
are you
there.
guys going there on this run or no?
Nah, but we could just lose money and do one show and have barbecue.
Word. I'm with it. Or just play a show at Bogarts. Just book the show and be like, yo, listen, I don't care if 10 people. There's always a line. You'll at least be playing for, a couple
Yo, just
50,
throw
60
us
people.
throw us $100 budget on the menu. I'll rock for free.
Yeah. I'm with that. Yeah, that
uh,
place is I'm not even convinced. I don't even want to talk shit on Bogarts, but I don't know if that place is as good as I think it is or if just their sauce is really good. They have like 8 different sauces and you just like put them on as you're eating and it's
it
like
definitely could be
the
that.
sauces are amazing, but like the meat itself is good. I'm not big on like beef. I can't eat it. I'm allergic, but like so I end up always getting like chicken or turkey at barbecue spots, which kind of sucks
Yeah,
because that's
you're
not
missing
what you're
out on the
supposed to
brisket
get.
and stuff.
Yeah, and it's like every once in a while I'll get like a pulled pork or something, but that's only if I'm at those kinds of places. But
Well,
it's
dude,
like,
even if it's not that good, it's still good because of the way we remember it. So let's just like roll with that, you know?
no, I know it's amazing, but I'm saying like I think it's a barbecue thing now with me where I'm like, is this place good or is their sauce good? Because it's like, what how they cook it or smoke it or whatever is important, but it's also like the sauce is carrying everything,
Right, right.
So it's like I think I'm more more picky about the sauce. But Bogart sauce, they got it. They
Yeah.
got the selection.
I'm gonna clip this and
I've
send
been
it to
there.
him.
Damn, I forgot about that place. Um, but yeah, the I haven't given you a third place yet. I'm gonna loop
Oh
back
yeah,
to that
come on.
one. So we did Australia and Finland.
Anywhere in America that you would move to.
That I would move to?
Yeah, you're
That's a
like,
rough
oh,
one.
or maybe not, but you're like, I could live here if it was just had like a simple life. I wouldn't mind living it.
I mean, there's a few spots. I'm not a big city person. Like I kind of hate New York City and Los Angeles as far as like living there goes. Great places to visit and see. You got to see the sights and all those places, but um, I'm more of a small rural, kind of like vibey area. But I'm big on. I fucking hate being cold. So I live in Arizona for a reason, and that's why I haven't moved here in mad long. But touring's great because it's like I get to see these places and like experience the seasons and shit like that. But I'm reminded really fast of why I live in Arizona. I'm like, yo, I hate it. I hate being cold. And I love Portland, Maine. Portland, Maine
Hmm.
is really dope,
Slept on.
but they're it gets so cold there,
Yeah.
dude. And like the winter like shuts down in the winter because it's like almost uninhabitable by the water and shit there. But the summertime and like the vibe there, awesome place. Even though it's really touristy and I think it's blown up over the last few years. Something happened, like the secret got out or something because it is like cracking there now. We went there last summer and it was just like what they were charging for you could tell like they were just like riding the tourist wave of like but we were there before that kind of like the end of the season they were like giving away lobster and like lobster rolls are like they're like $3. You go there in the summer it's like a $19 lobster roll from the same spot. I'm
Yep.
like, yo, what
Yep.
is going on, man? Like,
Everything's seasonal.
dude,
Everything's seasonal there.
cashing in, man.
Yep.
Yeah, but that's a really slept on spot. I would love to like
Good answer.
spend more time there. Like I've only spent a few days there overall, but I would like to hang out there and like kind of explore. I got like a soft spot for the Northeast. My dad lives in Connecticut, so I grew up there
Hell
back and
yeah.
forth in the summers and shit. But the Northeast is like unbeatable in the fall, like just Vermont, like that whole
100%, brother.
even Mass, like upstate New York, all that shit is kind of unfuckwithable in the fall. And that's really the only thing I miss about Arizona is like the seasons.
Uh-huh.
We don't have fall. It's either hot as fuck or just not. So when I get to see that or experience that on tour, I'm like, damn, dude, like it gets in my head. I'm like, I want to live here. I want to move back. Like, and then like a month later, I see like 2 feet of snow, and I'm like, yeah, absolutely not. I'm chilling in shorts and a t-shirt in Arizona right now. Like, I'm not doing that. So
Yeah.
even though moving, but if I did like the snowbird thing, like had a house here, and as soon as it gets cold, I would dip out. It would definitely either be somewhere like my sister lives in Vermont now, somewhere in Vermont or like Maine,
Nice.
New Hampshire. New Hampshire's even kind of slept on and pretty. Um,
My mom's gonna
but yeah,
love this
that's
answer, by the way, because she does listen to all these, and my mom loves Vermont and New Hampshire and all that vibe.
honestly, I kind of even like the flow vibe of where you guys are from. Like, I probably wouldn't want to live there, but
Yeah.
like, you know,
I mean, dude, it,
if
it
I
was a
was just
great
like
place to grow up. I have no
yeah,
complaints.
growing up would have been sick.
Yeah.
Like, but like going there now, or maybe like retiring later in life, but like in your adulthood, middle
There's
life,
nothing going on.
probably not the best place to be
Yeah.
for like growth and stuff. But I could see growing up there being sick.
It was awesome.
And like for the most part, all you guys who grew up there turned out all right. You and Bobby and fucking everybody else. But yeah, good vibes there. I think there's just something in that Northeast vibe. Like you guys all kind of have like what my homies in Connecticut have. Where it's like just that kind of northeastern flow, where it's just like I don't know, there's something about it. Some people consider it like being dickheads and shit, but I like the roughness
Where you
around the
at?
edges, where it's like,
Oh,
people are massholes and shit like that,
I
where it's
think
like, but it's like when you're cool with them, they're like some of the best people and they're always gonna have your back, shit like
yeah,
that.
very loyal. I think part of it is just like I'm just gonna not be afraid to like tell you what I think, even if it's not what you want to hear. But it's not because I'm like trying to talk shit or like piss you off. It's mostly because I want to help or improve it or just make everyone understand and be on the same page. Like it's not like
Yeah, if you it's because you care to some degree.
yeah,
I always tell people like if I fuck with you, that means I fuck with you. Where it's like if I tease you or like bully somebody or like kind of give them shit or like haze them a little on tour or something, it's like It's because I fuck with you as a person. Like if I didn't fuck with somebody, I'm just probably gonna leave you alone
And
and
I
just
felt like
chat
we were
back and
doing
forth
that
and
to
like
each other right when we
yeah,
met each other, which is why we like tapped in because I was like, yeah,
yeah.
we're just like fucking around. And
Yeah, if you can't like get roasted or roast back or any of that, it's like I don't kind of don't know if I can fuck with you and hang out with you as a person because like it's gonna happen. I'm gonna flame you. I
sure,
expect you to flame me back because otherwise
please.
I'm just like bullying you and then it's not
That's
good.
not
I just
fun.
feel bad, you know.
It's
It's
just
like
talk shit about
I'm
each
not gonna
other.
sit
It's
here and
funny.
beat up on you, but
Yeah,
yeah, you gotta be able to like go back and forth and talk some shit and
for
like
sure.
I've liked to think that I'm unflammable, but I definitely get cooked from time to time and I love it.
Happens to the best of us.
Yeah, yeah. I'm like, man, nobody can flame me. I laugh at everything. Everything's great. And then I get cooked one good time. I'm like, oh hell yeah, dude. Like I love it. Love being
Man,
fried. Yeah, it's rare. I'm
um,
usually the one frying people. Like in my phone, everybody I have as a phone contact is like a shitty picture of them. And like when they
I'm
call
sure you
me,
got one for
it
me.
shows up. Oh, it's oh, we're on the phone. I'm like, where's my fucking phone? It's that drawing, that one terrible drawing of you. I don't want
You
to
got
call
it.
anybody who
No,
made
I
it.
don't even remember who it was. I think they stopped being a fan of mine, but someone pulled up to a show and did like a fan drawing of me, like a fan art,
Yeah.
and it looks fucking insane. After this,
So
send it to
good.
me, and I'm gonna try to like put it on here or something.
Just like superimpose it over here.
Unbelievable. And I remember you must have been with us then. You must have been with us.
Yeah, I was. I was dying laughing. I was like, yo, this is the funniest
And
picture of
I'm
you I've
just
ever
like,
seen.
yo, thanks, man. That's awesome. And in my head, I'm like, that's what the fuck you think I look like? I got some shit to work on.
Nah, I think it was just the peak of their drawing skills.
Crazy. Yeah. So
They got
that's
work
the
to do.
photo of my contact in your phone.
Yeah, yeah. So when you call me, that shows up full screen. It's great. It makes
Perfect.
my day every time. Even though you don't call me often, but like when you do and it pops, like yesterday, I was
You're just
like,
like, hell yeah.
I don't answer right away because I'm just like laughing for a second. I'm like, oh yeah, this is
Ridiculous.
gold. But if we're locked in my phone, then you have a shitty picture as your contact photo.
That's
Uh,
amazing. I love that.
and if I don't have one of people I'm locked in with, I will get one or find one. So you just have to remind me when you see it. But yeah,
Um,
for the most part, everybody that I communicate with frequently has a really bad photo of them.
hilarious.
I love it.
All right, dude. I think we're gonna wrap this up. Great combo, though. Hopefully, there's some gems in there for people. If not,
I
it
have
was.
one question for you. I've been
Oh
thinking
yeah,
about this whole podcast. We touched on something, I don't remember what it was, but you asked me like a hypothetical, so I'm gonna ask you one. You don't drink. People know this, right? Mostly everybody knows you've never drank like a drop, right?
I've
Like
never tasted
you've
out.
never tasted anything alcoholic. If you were going to get a drink, what would it be and why?
Dude, I have no idea because I have no concept of what anything even is.
But have you ever like seen one like visually and been like, yo, that looks kind of like
It would,
I fuck with that, or like are you like a fruity guy like a pina colada,
yeah.
or
So
would you sit there like with an old fashioned and look fucking
no,
like
I'm not trying to
you're
impress
you're one of
anybody.
those guys, suave little red wine glass, some R&B shit.
Something about me that people know is I love a sweet treat. Okay,
Yeah,
if I
you
get
can
a
get one of them wild ass
if
drinks.
I get a zero sugar cherry coke or something, we're having a fucking night like that. We're having a time.
That's like you cracking like a cold one.
Yeah, that's me taking a
Like
load
yeah,
off. That's like the joke
yeah,
tour everywhere. It's like
yeah.
I'm gonna go to this gas station and get a 12 pack of zero sugar cream sodas, and we're gonna have a weekend because we got 2 days.
Oh yeah,
You know,
yeah.
so I feel like my palate would be some bullshit that people would make fun of me for having, but it would be like something with like chocolate or like something very sweet and like potentially fruity or like dessert style. It definitely
All
wouldn't
right.
be like whiskey on the rocks type of thing. Like I'm not
Yeah.
because I've smelled that or like gin or something. And it's just
And
like
you're
yo,
like, yeah, there's no way
it tastes
that
like
there's nothing
it
good
smells
about
like
that.
gas, bro. Like why are people drinking
Yeah.
this? I also don't like the smell of beer.
Yeah. I don't
Hey,
think people who drink beer like the smell of beer.
gross. Um, so I don't know. Maybe I'd have to think on it more, but something real feminine, probably.
Well, here's the deal then. You gotta make me a promise. I need a picture of this. And this, when you are done with this next tour and you said you were gonna take some time off, get you a virgin, like a non-alcoholic drink of one of those kinds of drinks,
Okay.
just to take a load off. You got to relax, take a pool day or something. Get you like a if you we'll talk drinks later, but we can find you something fruity
You know
and
what? I'm
delicious.
gonna do it when I go to Vegas because I'm going to Vegas for NBA Summer League. I go every year.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Um, Oddly enough, I routed a tour that starts 2 days after, so I'm gonna go right to that. But I am going to Vegas to like absolutely chill by myself for 2 days. So
Okay, yeah.
I'll
One of
get
those
that.
days, we get you a vibe, a non-alcoholic vibe, by like a pool or like some actual time off in the room or something, and I need evidence of it.
I got
Proof
you.
that you chilled out with a sweet treat.
I'm gonna get fucking hammered.
They fuck it up and actually put alcohol in it. You're like, dude, what?
It's funny.
Crazy Vegas night.
Um, I got you on that. All right, dude. Well, yeah, great combo. Like I said, thanks for jumping on.
Of
Um,
course, man. Anytime.
yeah, it was great. Great to catch up in general. And yeah, we'll see you soon, I'm sure. And I love
All
you.
right, man.
I
You
appreciate
have
you.
a safe run. I love you too. Later, dude.
Peace, everybody.